here, and yes, I am a bit sunburned. I was at the lake today. It was a glorious day. I didn't wear sunscreen like a moron, so here we are. Today I just wanted to film a really quick video about the films that I always watch every year in October. So let's just get into it, but before we begin, I want to know what movies you watch every single October, so leave them down below. Some of these are horror movies. No. They're all horror movies. Some of them are Halloween movies, but some of them are not, and they're just movies that I watch every year. So let's just get into it. And I'm saving the best for last, of course. So first let's talk about movies that aren't Halloween movies, but that I just watch every year. The first one is Scream. I always watch a Scream movie, and it's usually 1 or 3. I mean, you guys know the story of Scream 1. Sidney Prescott, her mother died a year before. She was murdered, and now it seems like the murderer is coming after her, and that is the first one. And then in the third film, they are actually shooting a Scream movie that's called Stab. And you get to go on the set, and it's really cool. I really like this one. I know some people don't, but it's one of my favorite Scream movies. I really enjoy it. And so you get to go on the set and meet the people that are playing the people. It's just a fun little meta movie. This one is probably the one that I pick most, but not for any particular reason. Just that it seems to be the one that I can find most often, to be honest. It's usually on some streaming service, so that's one that I go to all the time. It has nothing to do with Halloween in particular. It's just one of those fun movies that gets you into the mood for the season. The next one that I want to talk about is Evil Dead, the remake. Oh my gosh, this movie is so creepy. A bunch of teens go to a cabin to try to break their friend from a drug addiction, so they're trying to like make her quit cold turkey. One of them ends up finding a book in the basement where some rituals took place, and they happen to open it and read it, and the girl who was a drug addict gets possessed by this entity. Oh god, I can't even explain how good this movie is because I feel like I'm not even giving you a good enough explanation. There are amazing scenes. Like, I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite horror films ever. It's so good. One of my favorite scenes is this girl cuts off her arm with like a little electric saw, and she's like, her arm's like hanging on by a thread, and she's like, I'm feeling much better now. It's just so funny. Anyways, this one is one that will get you in the mood for the spooky season. I love showing this to my friends who hate horror movies because they're just traumatized after, and I think it's hilarious. It's such a good movie. It's such a good remake. It's such a good film in general, and definitely one to watch in October. So next up, I want to talk about this because it's not a horror movie, but it is something that I watch every October, and this is something that I watch more than any movie ever, so I watched this multiple times. So this is actually, do you guys remember in like the 90s, maybe even the 80s this came out? I feel like it was the 90s, but to make music videos, so like you could buy, for example, a Metallica concert, but then it would be a whole music video that you could watch. Well, Alice Cooper has one of these for Welcome to My Nightmare, which is my favorite Alice Cooper album. It's so Halloween, it's ridiculous. There are witches and skeletons, and yes, there are some things that aren't Halloween related either. And he talks about like, oh, can I even say this? Becoming intimate with dead people. It's a really cool visual exploration of the album. Vincent Price is in it, which is so fantastic. I'm obsessed with Vincent Price. And so he's kind of like the guide through Alice Cooper's Nightmare. It's so cool. You guys have to watch it if you haven't. Highly suggest. I watch this all the time in October. All year round too, if I'm completely honest. But in October, anytime I'm cleaning, anytime I'm doing anything, doing laundry, anything, I always throw that up, and that's just what I watch and listen to in the background. It's just fantastic. If you guys haven't seen it and you love Alice Cooper, highly recommend. Next up, let's just get it out of the way. It's Trick or Treat. Come on, if you haven't seen Trick or Treat, you're crazy. It's kind of a horror anthology of different segments, but they all interlink, and it's really cool. And it's so Halloween, and it's fun, and it's about serial killers and ghosts and the spirit of Samhain, and oh, it's fantastic. This one is so fun, it's so unique, so original, and just, became an instant classic. Such a good movie. The first movie that I have to recommend is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Now, Halloween's a movie that I usually watch every year as well, but we're just gonna skip to Halloween 3. So this one is Season of the Witch. This is the only Halloween movie that does not have Michael Myers in it, and it's actually a really interesting story about a man named Dan, a doctor. He's trying to figure out, because a patient comes in and he's holding one of these masks, so he's trying to figure out where these masks come from. The skeleton, the witch, and the pumpkin. So he tracks down the location, this Silver Shamrock's novelty, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. It turns out that Cochran, the main guy, is trying to use the masks to sacrifice children. It's a really awesome movie. It's got some amazing scenes, great special effects, iconic moments. It's such a good Halloween movie. It's just the #1 all-time favorite Halloween movie. So you guys have to see this. If you haven't watched Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, you are sleeping on some good horror, so definitely check that out. So those are my top movies that I watch every year for Halloween. So I want to know down below what movies get you in the mood for spooky season. What movies have you watched already, and what movies are on your list coming up? So that's it for today. I just wanted to talk about my favorite movies that get me in the mood for October, that get me ready for Halloween. And I will see you tomorrow with another horror video. Bye guys.